I am the Space Quest historian. Everybody loves a good adventure game puzzle. The thrill of solving a good brain teaser by applying your ingenuity and creativity to overcome a stimulating challenge and thus advancing one step closer to the tantalizing conclusion of the adventure. Sometimes you don't even want it to end. Sometimes the promise of more conundrums and clever obstacles are a reward unto themselves. But not all games are like that. Even the good ones have the occasional missteps. Some are comprised almost entirely of missteps, but you suffer through them regardless because the end goal is just too intriguing. And some, let's be honest, can just hop on a train to fuck off city and never come back. So for this video, I invited, well, pretty much anyone who wanted to chip in with examples of puzzles that absolutely boiled their piss in abject frustration. Now, we're not ranking these, we're just ranting in no particular order, and we're gonna steer clear of low-hanging fruit like the cat hair mustache puzzle in Gabriel Knight 3 or the monkey wrench puzzle in Monkey Island 2 because those have all been done to death. Whether or not a puzzle constitutes bullshit is of course subjective, and some of them are from otherwise great games where you can sort of forgive them for having one or two puzzles that drive you up the fucking wall. But anyway, let's get started. I'll kick off and get the ball rolling with one from Sam and Max Hit the Road. Now, I unequivocally love this game, and it is rightfully regarded as one of the classics from LucasArts' heyday, but you still gotta admit, some of the puzzles veer so far past mere cartoon logic that it's a mystery why someone didn't just yank the brakes and go, wait, what the fuck are we even doing at this point? One such mystery is, appropriately, in the Mystery Vortex. Now, if you haven't played the game, just know that this whole place is a surreal mindfuck where the characters shrink and grow as they move through the room, and the goal here is to somehow harness the crazy energy of the Mystery Vortex to allow them to enter one of these doors. The vortex is controlled by these giant magnets under the Earth's crust. That's literally the explanation the game gives you, don't ask questions. And on the surface, the puzzle seems quite straightforward. The doors are all different colors, and when you go through this mirror, you'll find that there are switches next to these magnets that change the colors. So obviously, you just need to change the colors to match the door you want to go through, and Bob's your fucking uncle. But there are only two magnets. You can't exactly make all the colors of the rainbow with just two combinations. This had me stumped for fucking ages until someone told me, you know the screen scrolls, right? Yeah. There's a third magnet, and you have to walk over to the right here before the screen scrolls to reveal it. Now, okay, what's so bullshit about that, you may ask? Well, it's because it looks like the screen is blocked off here to the right, and the screen only scrolls when you walk all the way to the right. Now, obviously, once you know this, the puzzle starts making perfect sense, but this little part of the foreground absolutely looks like the room just ends at the second magnet, and you have literally no reason to try and walk to the right because your brain just immediately goes, well, there's plainly an obstacle there. It just looks like the cave ends there. Adventure game logic dictates that if there's a visible obstacle at the edge of the screen, that means that what you see is what you get, and fiddling with these two magnets that are on screen when you enter the room doesn't advance the scrolling. You literally have to go out of your way to reveal the third one. But okay, in the grand scheme of things, that's a pretty light one. Let's ramp it up a notch.
Hey guys, Paul here, co-host of the Classic Gamers Guild podcast, developer of the Phantom Fellows and other upcoming adventures. Plurality. I having a stroke? Plurality. Oh my god. Plurality aside, I'm here to tell you about the adventure game that most tested my patience, and it's going to be a little bit hard to, I think, to articulate exactly how it makes me feel without being like overtly crass. Whose YouTube channel is this for?
The Space Quest historian, dude.
Oh, perfect. Okay, I got it. No big deal then. Okay, so the game.
Remember to feed me.
One short eye, please. I'm trying to record it. The game is
kind of dark down here.
The game is the Neverhood, the 1997 maybe adventure game. Done in claymation. My relationship with the Neverhood is complex. It actually runs deep into my family too. My brother is a professional stop motion animator. He's even won an Emmy about it. And I think he owes some of that drive and motivation to become a stop motion animator and director to the Neverhood. So this game means a lot to me and my family. And I really, really like the game. It's just, I hate it as well. It's love peppered with hate. It's playing the Neverhood for me is kind of like hate fucking. It's like I hate it, but it feels good. Yeah, man, that is exactly what it's like. Because every puzzle in the Neverhood is the worst. The worst. I cannot stand logic-y puzzles, the sliding tiles, and just the absent of any narrative. It's just like, hey, you know, if you want to unlock more game, do this horrible seventh guest-like puzzle. And that's ultimately what the Neverhood is a series of terrible puzzles put inside of an awesome game that is surprisingly packed with lore. There's like this hall of records with some of like the best writing that you could find in an adventure game. If you want to spend hours walking down the hall and just reading the lore, it's really good. It's fun, it's funny. Everything about this game is amazing, except for playing it, which is, again, it's the worst. I've never laughed so hard, I think, in my life than I did in this one particular scene with the Neverhood. I'm probably gonna show it in the B-roll here. Listen to me sounding like a YouTuber, old podcaster out here in the video world. But I almost hesitate to show it just because I feel like the few of you that have played the Neverhood know exactly what scene I'm talking about as soon as I say it, because it's really, really funny. And I've shared this moment with a few other people and they reciprocated too, like, oh my god, yeah, I remember laughing really, really hard at that. But it's packed with these incredible moments. You just have to get through the worst puzzles to get to them. So yes, playing the Neverhood is like hate fucking. It feels amazing, but you hate it. And so for that reason, I recommend that you do or do not check out the game. Shout out to Roberta Vaughn for this copy of the box. We love you. Ciao, guys. Lunchbox, please. I'm trying to record a video.
Hello there, my name is Princess Pearl Mermaid. I stream retro adventure games on Twitch, and I am going to tell you about the most frustrated I have ever been playing an adventure game. We'll set the stage. The year is 1996. I am 12 years old, and I have been plugging away for months at King's Quest IV on the Atari 1040 ST. I have finally gotten to summer vacation, and now I'm going to be playing this game like it is my job. I am determined to beat it. I've even gotten a walkthrough from the Proto World Wide Web that I have printed out, and I am reading it off. And I discover, first of all, that the shark, when you swim into the ocean, isn't just the game killing you off when you swim out too far. It's just a random encounter, and I've been unlucky. And second, I find out about the whale. What is supposed to happen is that you swim across the ocean and get swallowed by a whale, Pinocchio style, but the whale is a random encounter. I spent literally a full week swimming back and forth across the ocean, getting nothing but blank screens or that stupid shark. Finally, just as I'm about to swim right off of the screen, the whale appears. And in my excitement, I slam the keyboard and hit several keys at the same time, which an Atari 1040 ST is not equipped to handle. The entire computer crashed. I walked away and didn't return to King's Quest IV for literal years. I beat it, but at what cost?
Hello there, fellow adventurers. So, what's a game that tested my patience? Well, one of the first games I thought of was Next Life, also called Reprobates, because if you play this game, you're doomed to be a reprobate. It was developed by Future Games, who also made one of my personal favorites, Black Mirror. So, how does Black Mirror compare to Next Life? Well, this is brilliant, and this is a load of old bollocks. One of the main reasons it tests my patience so much is that it's slow. And when I say slow, I mean slow. The controls are clunky and it takes ages to move anywhere. You can run, but that depletes your energy bar. Wait, there's an energy bar in an adventure game? Blasphemy! To regain your energy, you have to drink water and eat cookies. You also spend most of the time picking up grass, sticks, and stones. It's like being stuck in the Stone Age, or maybe Purgatory.
We are in purgatory. Haven't you understood that?
The story is that you were involved in a car crash and wake up to find yourself on this island, not knowing where you are or even what time period you're in.
A holiday by the sea was always my dream, but this is a nightmare.
We meet other people living in these cabins from all walks of life.
God knows with all those countries. My name's Dorothy, and I come from the Big Apple.
Hello, my name is Edwin, and I'm Scottish.
I'm German after my father. Born in Switzerland, and I live in Brussels. Cool, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool, but it would be even better if your mother was a reprobate. There's a bell tower overlooking the island that you'd like to investigate. That is, if you can reach it before falling asleep. Oh, come on, this is intolerable. I could bake cookies in the time it takes to climb these rocks. And speaking of baking cookies, here's One Short Eye. Cut to One Short Eye's video.
Hey folks, One Short Eye here. You know, there's a lot of nonsense in the classic Sierra games, but for some reason, the first thing that came to mind when the Space Quest historian asked for games that tested my patience was this one, 2005's Still Life. It's a dark, gritty mystery game. You investigate some really violent crime scenes that feel right out of a 90s or 2000s horror movie. And then, right in the middle of all that filth, you have to come home to your dad's cozy house and bake cookies. Now, okay, I'm all for a calm reprieve, but not only is the tonal shift weird, but the puzzle just pisses me off. The recipe is written in metaphors that you have to decipher. 1 cup of love, 1/2 cup of generosity, 2 cups of commitment. And it's not like there's a glossary or something hidden on the family computer. You have to use your real-world knowledge of how to bake cookies. I'm not kidding. Here's how the UHS Hints walkthrough explains it. In a traditional recipe, certain ingredients are often creamed together, while other ingredients are often sifted together. By following the same pattern in this recipe, we can guess that the generosity, sweetness, and love most likely represent the milk, butter, and brown sugar. What else can you conclude about the ingredients by comparing this to a traditional recipe? How about nothing? Because when I bake, I just follow the goddamn directions. I don't think about what kind of emotional crises my eggs are going through. And I can't let this game off the hook without complaining about another puzzle. There's a little arcade section where you have to guide a robot through some lasers. The robot's not very responsive, so you have to time things pretty tightly, and the camera angle is odd, and just overall, I remember this being way more frustrating than it needed to be. But it's not nearly as bad as Still Life 2. 3 words. Limited inventory slots. If that doesn't send shivers down your spine, I don't know what will.
All right, back to me. Okay, this one might ruffle some feathers, and I'm definitely going to get some comments telling me what a fucking idiot I am. But hey, listen up. This shit with the tomb wall in Gabriel Knight's Sins of the Fathers just absolutely befuddled the ever-loving piss out of me. And even when I caved and looked up the solution in a walkthrough, it still took me ages to figure out how this puzzle chain was actually constructed. So what you need to do is go party down with the voodoo cult somewhere in the swamp, but your invitation must have gotten lost in the mail or something, so you need to work out where the rave is going down. So you nick a tracking device from your moron police detective friend Mosley, and now you have to work out some place to stash it, ideally in some place that you know is going to be at the shindig in the swamp. At this point in the story, you've sussed that the dude at the local voodoo museum, Dr. John, is definitely in on the whole thing. You also know that he's in charge of bringing trinkets to these little get-togethers, but he's not the one calling the shots. Whoever's actually running the show leaves messages for him on this tomb wall about what doohickey he should bring next. So we need to leave the tracking device in some sort of object in here, then leave a message telling him to bring that thing. But what object? To me, anything in here seems like it would work, including but not limited to shoving it up the snake's ass, because they always bring the snakes, and yeah, snakes do have assholes. But there's only one object Gabe will leave it in, and that's this tiny little coffin here next to the door, which you would be forgiven for not even spotting in the first place because it blends in so well with the background. You don't get the option of choosing which object for the dude to bring along. It has to be this little baby coffin. Next, we have to leave a message for the good doctor on this tomb wall telling him to bring the little coffin. We even have 2 of their previous messages written down and partially translated, since the voodoo alphabet in this game is just a simple letter substitution cipher. But you'd better have been paying close attention to how this voodoo cult words their messages, and even closer attention to what the voodoo name for this little baby coffin is, and more importantly, how to spell it. If you get it wrong, Gabe just clairvoyantly senses that his message isn't quite right, but he doesn't bother explaining why. And you may think, okay, well, that doesn't sound so bad. Well, no, not when I lay it out step by step. Well, I'll tell you, working out what the game even wanted me to do after getting the trackers from Mosley's office was hard enough, because you don't really get any hints that nudge you in the direction of, I should hide these in a thingamajig somewhere, then trick the cult into bringing that thingamajig so I can follow them. You're sort of left to figure that out for yourself, and while ordinarily I would appreciate this kind of non-pushy design where the game just doesn't take the player by the hand like they're teaching a child how to cross the street and starts very insistently pointing at a quest marker that says, "New objective, do this thing, dipshit." Here I felt I could have used a bit more of a nudge. Anyway, that's it for today. Big thanks to Paul, One Short Eye, Adventure Game Geek, and Princess Pearl for contributing their personal nightmares to this little anthology of anguish. We somehow managed to not bring up the ones that everyone always harps on, but obviously, these are just our picks. There are plenty more to choose from. So if you want to be part of a follow-up video to this, feel free to record a segment of your own and send it to me. My contact email is on my YouTube page, or you can join my Discord via the link in the description. You will have to supply your own game footage though, but I'm sure you'll figure that out. Anyway, I'm the Space Quest Historian. Until next time, keep your head down and your walkthroughs handy, and I'll see you around the Chrono Stream. Bye!